Casper on a really big run towards the upside right now. Is it a good time to be buying? HBar having a phenomenal couple of weeks. Should I be buying? I don't know when to be buying these coins. Am I going to get ripped off? Am I going to be selling them at the right price? In this video, I'm going to explain exactly how you can avoid the emotions by understanding very simply when to buy and sell tokens. It's going to be absolutely beginner friendly, guys. So you might as well hit the like button and we might as well get into it. Now this is a Casper chart over on tradingview.com. Tradingview.com is a free website which you can use, like I'm doing here, to work out whether or not to buy tokens at a good price or a bad price. And why is this so important, I hear you ask? Well, right now the market's not doing a lot. But during the bull market, the market will be pumping some days 20, 30, 40%, and then dumping the next day 20, 50%, whatever it is. This can be a very stressful time if you don't really understand what is happening on a chart. And in this video, I'm going to explain what is happening on a chart so that you can understand whether or not it's a good time to buy that token. And whether or not you hear someone in the comments say, Casper's not like any other crypto, it does its own thing, or XLM is doing its own thing. I've heard this time and time again, it's bullshit. It's still bullshit, and it will always be bullshit. Okay, so we need to be very cautious. Casper currently is up 55% in the last kind of week or so, which is pretty good, okay? And I'm not saying that Casper can't go any higher. But what you'll see is I have marked on my chart a red box and a green box. Why on earth would I do that to my chart? Well, the red box is telling me, don't you think about trying to buy this token here. Now, right now, there's a reasonable chance that Casper will continue to push higher. But why don't I want to buy it in here? Well, the last time it was at this level, Casper pulled back approximately 37%. That means if I put in $1,000, I would be down $370 at some point down here. So why do I not want to buy it? Well, if you were interested in buying Casper and you've done your research, well, you would have already bought it somewhere down here, okay? But I get it. You probably weren't aware of Casper then because you weren't really paying attention, and now you are paying attention because it's ripping towards the upside. This is when most people will tend to FOMO in, and this is when most people tend to get wrecked. Now, I want you to point out here, this was another point at which Casper, everyone was excited about. It then pulled back 72%. Now, this is not a dig at Casper. I'm not saying that it's a bad investment. In fact, I hold Casper and I think it's a great investment because it's a very exciting project with a great kind of story behind it, being that it's featured, or the tech behind it is featured on the Ethereum white paper. What we need to identify is where we're going to put our green boxes on the charts. What we can see here is a chart for Ajax, okay? This is a crypto that's been having a mixed year. It did very well earlier on this year, and then it's not done so well since. When a crypto does well, it will spike towards the upside. And a cryptocurrency can't move this aggressively without big money that's buying it. This was a 248% move, and it did it in 4 days, okay? 4 days. This is big money flowing into a project, especially when we're talking like multi-million-dollar market caps. Now, what that tells me is this move came from an area down here, which we will now know as a buy zone. How do I know that this is a buy zone? I need to identify big candles, and I need to identify where they came from. I want you to understand what is happening in the area before this move happens. Large amounts of money starts to buy its positions into projects, but they don't do it massively quickly because they do it too quickly. This happens too quickly. Eventually they will buy to a point at which suddenly it tips the scales, and then suddenly it will push aggressively towards the upside. And what I know is the big money isn't really buying much beyond this point here. This is when everyone else is FOMOing in. You don't want to be the people who FOMO in because you provide the exit liquidity for everyone else. You want to be accumulating like the big money. And we don't know that they're accumulating there. When we're in this moment, we don't know that it won't pull back here, okay? We have no idea. So we have to wait patiently. This pumps. And then eventually, you can see it comes back into this area. Now this here is our first confirmation. Look at what happens. It enters aggressively into this zone, and then suddenly it pushes out of it. This shows me people who were happy to buy here are still happy to buy here. So what do I need to wait for? I need to wait for the second confirmation. Do we get the second confirmation? Now right now you can see that we've entered back into this space and we're getting these wicks towards the downside. Now in terms of whether or not this is a good buy right now, say you've done your research on Ajax and you want to be in Ajax for the bull market. This is a good time to buy Ajax if you've done your research and you believe it's a good project and you want to be involved. Why is it a good time? Well, because everyone else who doesn't know what they're doing tends to enter around here on all the hype and excitement. And right now they're sat down 72%. But instead, you could be buying in this area, and then when it gets back up there, you're 269% up. So what we're looking for is big push, one confirmation, which is showing the wicks towards the downside, the thin bits, okay? Showing us that money is buying in this area. Comes back down, and then it buys up again. Now there's no guarantee in this area that it can't drop towards the next zone, and then we would just have to look further down the chart for the next area of interest, which you can see on this chart would be somewhere down here. So maybe I go in with a partial position here. If I've got $1,000, I put in a couple of $100. If it gets lower, I put in a couple hundred more, and you know the story from here. But right now, it looks pretty good. XRB, very interesting chart, because obviously we had that explosive news. This was big money accumulation. This was everyone else FOMOing in, and then this is big money taking profits, okay? This is no different from any other chart. And look what happens. We get down into this area, it wicks up heavily. This is our first confirmation that this is more than likely a buy zone. What happens next time we get in? We get a second buy zone. This is XRP now identifying that it's back out of a buy zone, and if it pumps from the buy zone to where it was all-time high, you can get in 94%. So all of those people who were panicking in here thinking they would never get to buy XRP again at this price, look at what happened to them. They've now sat for a period of time, ever since July, they've sat, and some of them have been down at one point, were down 54% on that wick there, okay? Which is stressful, because if you're emotional and you react emotionally, you get stress in return. Now, something else that we should consider. Games for a Living has been pumping aggressively. Is it a good time to buy? Well, this is something else you want to pay attention to. Very simply, these wicks, okay? The thin part. This thing is a candle, okay? This black thing here is a candle. The thing at the top is a wick, a candle wick, okay? When you get wicks in one direction like this, it tends to mean that the bears are pushing it back down, and on the bottom, tends to mean the bulls are pushing it back up, okay? This is an erratic chart. Games for a Living, it looks like it's probably more than likely going to come back down. So in this position, where do I identify that I want to buy Games for a Living from? Well, if I look back to where the big money was buying in, we have some sideways action, which was down around here. You can see up and down, and then push. So if Games for a Living pulls back from current price down into here, I get myself a 28% discount. What I can do is I can right click, I can add an alert, I can create an alert, and then if it comes back in here, it goes beep on my phone and I get Games for a Living. I can name it. I can say GFAL in buy zone. And I can save it. And then you know what I can do? Something else. Go down to the shops. Go for a swim. Go and, do karaoke. Whatever your thing is. Okay? This is so easy. And it stops you from being emotional. Okay? Do you want me to show you some more examples? That's what you did. This here is Tenet, which I talked about on a video I made yesterday, which I highly recommend. And you should be subscribed so you're picking up on all of these slightly different videos I'm making at the moment. Many people, and I will know time and time again on YouTube crypto guys, okay, will be talking about chart patterns like the one I've drawn here. This triangle flag pattern, okay, whatever you want to call it, is a good bullish pattern, okay, especially when we're seeing it starting to break and retest here. Now, in my opinion, Tenet is going to break from here and it's going to go up to about this point here, which is a move of 66%. This is, in my opinion, go and do your research, okay? 66% up. But I'm not buying it now, which is what every YouTuber is trying to get you to do, is to buy the breakouts of these chart patterns. I don't do that. If you understand these buy and sell zones, it becomes very much more straightforward. Look at this for Tenet. We had a very big push out of this zone here. And then what happens? So I know that big money is buying in this zone down here. Big money is prepared to buy it here. Comes back down. If you were smart, you might be buying in here, which would mean that right now, instead of waiting for 66%, you'll be already up 53%. And then if you get all the way to that next breakout point, you're up 149%. Also, you mitigate your downside risk, because if it rolls over from here and it comes back down towards this area, then I'm still in the green, okay? I'm still in the green, okay? And that's why it's so much better to wait for those pushes lower. Now, you don't know necessarily when the next buy zone is going to come. And if we go back to Casper and we have that clear breakout, where will my next buy zone come from? Well, because Casper will be entering into price discovery mode, which means it has never been this high before, okay? It's because it's in an all-time high area. We're going to have to wait for it to run into an area where it might find a pullback. Now, you can go and look at all sorts of different technical things, but really what we just pay attention, and you have to wait for it patiently and don't pull the trigger, and maybe it pumps like this and you get a bit of a sideways action come in, okay? And if it comes back down to retest an area like this, then we have our first confirmation. We then wait. If it comes back into that area, then we get our buy. That means that we have to wait patiently for Casper to get into an area to buy it at. Don't FOMO into it, even if it's at the all-time high. And lots of people find this very hard to understand because they're emotional. The emotions get the better of you. And I promise you this, if you are emotional in crypto, you will get wrecked. So hard, okay? Because yeah, you might get lucky. Say right now you FOMO into Casper and Casper pumps another 200%, you might get lucky, but I guarantee the money that you take out of it, which you probably won't, at some point you'll put into something else and it'll rip back down against you and you'll FOMO sell or whatever else. Okay? So all we're identifying is sideways action, big pump, comes back into a zone and we buy it again. Let's see if we can find one or two more, just very quickly. Solana right now. Look at Solana's chart. Solana is one that is actually looking pretty good. This was a big move and this was a buy zone. And this is why we wait for confirmation. Because Solana came into this area, it touched it and actually came back down deeply into it and then it never really pushed again, okay? It fell down through. It then comes to the next buy zone. Where's the next buy zone? Well, you can see this like sideways action part going on here. Okay, so the big zone, you could just draw it across here. Another big move comes in here. These two big candles show big buying pressure comes out of this sideways. It goes sideways, it pumps. And then there's another buy zone on Solana down here at $15 to around $16. So what I see right now is Solana has come down into this next buy zone. And if you want to just DCA in and buy each time it hits a buy zone, it's not really a bad thing. If you believe in the project, Solana currently is down around 38% since a recent pump on 15th of July. And, you know, it came down and didn't quite get here. So it might never ever get here, which is why maybe DCAing in at each buy zone is important, because right now you can see Solana is coming together where it's breaking this downtrend at the same time that has been involved in this buy zone. And if it bounces from here back to that recent high, then you'll get 68% out of it, potentially more. I hope this makes sense, guys. If you don't really understand, then make sure you subscribe. You can get into the free Telegram link down below. If you really want me to break down on a daily basis exactly how to get involved in Solana and other coins like that, and you can ask what coins to be buying and selling, then you can get involved in the Inner Circle Discord link down below, just $9.99. And lots of people are always asking, like, can I buy and sell because of tax and all these other dramas, and I can't access these tokens in my country, I have to use Coinbase, which is super expensive. Well, guys, in the description is a link for MEXC. This is a phenomenal exchange that does not require KYC. That means you don't have to tell them who you are. You can remain completely anonymous. You can access it from any different country. You can see the spot fees are like 0%, futures fees at 0%, taker fees like 0.01%. It is extremely cheap, and it means that you can stay under the radar trading all sorts of different cryptos for a fraction of the price that you can on Coinbase. Works if you're a US citizen, it works if you're whatever citizen. You can see that my IP address and nationality indicate that you are located in a country where MEXC services are restricted. That's because My NordVPN, which I'm using right now, is connected, as you can see, to the United States. If I, however, change it to the United Kingdom, then you can see that I can access MEXC as normal. This is an insanely important piece of kit if you are trading cryptocurrency, and it is a NordVPN. And down below in the description, you can get 4 months absolutely free using my exclusive link. Now, NordVPN allows you to position yourself in any area of the world, so you can use exchanges such as MEXC without falling under restrictions of places like the United States. This is insanely important. Not only that, it will do things like block ads, and it will protect you from trackers and malware that can be used to spy on your wallets and steal cryptocurrency from you. If you're taking crypto seriously, then it's worth investing like $3 or $4 per month to get yourself a NordVPN, link down below in the description, and remain safe while you're trading cryptocurrency. I can't emphasize it enough, this is the most essential bit of kit that anyone uses trading crypto. Link down below in the description is a sponsorship link. I will make a kickback if you use it, but it's the VPN that I use, and I highly suggest you do too. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that video today. If you did, hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.